approval. I can't ask him why, because he did it on his time, his way. So me knowing God, it's his way. It's not our way, it's his way. But as for him, I told him, you, before he walked out the door with tears running down his face, because I know he feel by himself. I know he feel bad. I haven't shared nothing with the family. I have kept this on my back. But I did tell him, if you want to stay over here, you give me back my key. And then may the Lord be with you. I said, but son, you got to sacrifice. I said, we all sacrifice. I sacrifice. I said, when I laid in there, in that shelter with them drug addicts and crazy people and people just don't care, I had a choice. I either don't let that beat me up or I'll fall in there with them. So I chose not to fall in with them. And carried a backpack while I was going to study for my bachelor's degree and write papers at McDonald's and sit in my car. I said, I did what you did. That's why I could tell when a person is homeless, how they carry themselves and the things that they do. I said, yes. I said, so you ain't by yourself. I said, you and me, ain't a soul in this family have walked in. Ain't nobody walked in our shoes. I said, but I've traveled in your shoes, so I know where you at. So you can either hear me or do it your way, don't want to follow rules, don't want to sacrifice, then I'll see where you be at. I said, you'll be flat on your face. And that's him being a prisoner, because that's what he chose to be. Because all he had to do was go back home, y'all. That's all. That's all they had to do. That's the whole point. That's that freeing, and that's that hope. You still have hope out there, because you got a choice. You could go home. You can go home. He has a lot of pride. I mean, I looked at him, dude, they gone. Like I told him, they gone. They gone. I said, but our God, that's how I love to say it. Our God, I said, look at me. Look at me. I was without stuff, things. I lost stuff along the way, but I do have things. No matter where, I went with it. I sacrificed. I laid in that arm of his and let him rock me, because I knew one thing, it would get better. So I trusted in him. And yes, and I had hope that he wasn't going to let me down. That's why sometimes I do get upset, and I'll say, when I'm talking to him, I say, you say it. Because I believe in his word. That's why I say, you say it. Because I believe in him. And I know there's hope. I just wanted it then, but I had to hold on and just wait on him. And that's the same thing I told him. I said, you got to have hope, and you got to trust and believe in. I said, because he'll see you through, Trevor. I said, but man, what you doing is, you doing this on your own, and you're not alone. This ain't yours. This is not yours. You got to hold on. I said, because I'm telling you, you got more than just yourself. You have a child. So you got to look forward to things to be better for you. And it don't hurt for you to listen. Let me point you and tell you to where to go and go see. Go see. I said, he uses people like me to point you to go see. That's why when people come talking to you, they're not beating you up. He's giving it to them to point you to the way to go. But if you don't go there, I see you're going to be over here. I said, look at my hand, dude. He looked at my hand and I was doing it like this. And then I turned around and said, hey, I love you, cuz. And that's just what I mean. I said, then I'm going back to work. I said, you go do what you got to do. I said, but you remember what I said. I said, because the next time we talk, if you not up over here and you still over here, and that hurt me to my heart to say it, but it got to be said. You give me back my key, and may the Lord be with you.
But the book said, the text said that God will fight our battle for us, but we have to be willing.
That's it. That's it. That's it. He's got to be willing. He's got to be willing. I care so much up here while they back home. And I don't say nothing to none of them. And I lay my head down at night in despair. And then sometimes I get up and hit the floor and be excited, but I still haven't forgot the issues that lay down with me. But I shrug on. And all I mumble to myself, and sometimes out loud, Lord, just come on through. I said, just give me the discernment. Lord, I know you can step right on through. What did I say? Which way do I go? That's me every day. Even when I got up this morning and sat on the edge of bed and look at the sun shining, there still was some despair, but then yet there is some happiness because there is some hope. I know it's coming, but I try to lead them the right way, y'all. I try to lead them the right way. I just know I try to point them to the way. Let him use me, because what it say, he uses people. I was alone. And I told him, I stood in the window and I cried hard that day. And I told my mom on the phone, come get my kids. I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Just come get them. I'm a failure. And I can't do it anymore. And all while I was talking like that, there was something up here saying, now you know the Lord will take care of you. Just hold on, sister. I was standing, and I showed him, I was standing in the window crying hard. And I never said he failed me. And I'm just crying, and I'm thinking, which way do I go? So while I was crying to her, and she's trying to talk to me, all this stuff got to running in my mind, and I said, Mama, let me go. Come get my kids. No, we got to talk about it. No, I don't want to talk anymore. I'll talk to you later. Bye. I hung up the phone, and I cried hard, and I sat, and I thought a minute. Wiped my eye. Let me call this number I had in my phone for 2 years. Out of the blue, let me call this number I had for 2 years. When I called that number, the woman answered the phone. I said, hey, this is Stephanie Rivers. I said, Brittany Gorey gave me this number and told me that you rent our house. And I told her what I had. She told me she didn't have it. So I turned around and said, well, okay. Well, let me see it anyway. And I said, Lord, I said, if you just get me over there, then maybe I could use my mama to get this place. Use her to get her to come up here and get it in her name. So when I got over there and I was feeling sick to my stomach, because I'm saying to myself, I want this. I don't even know if I'm going to get it. I said, but Lord, help me. When I got a car, I walked through the place, and I'm saying to myself, Lord, you know me and my kids need a place to go. So after we stepped down out of that apartment, I asked her, I said, so what do I need to do? I said, what I need to do? I said, so I need to get my mama come up here? You know what she said? No. She said, just give me $137. I'll fill that paperwork out because I see that you are persistent. I just busted out laughing. And then I broke down crying. I said, you worked at just as I had did all that crying prior. But in my mind, like you said, he knows your heart and your thoughts. in my mind, while I was doing all that crying, I still had hope, and I trusted and believed him to see me through that battle that I was going through. And he did. I walked away, and she gave me that paperwork. I filled it out. The next day, I brought her that money, and she handed me the keys. So that's why I was able to tell him, you're prisoner of your own, because you're not willing to sacrifice. You're not willing, but you got to. You're going to have to. He did. He did. What I say when Reverend Doug doing VBS said, have you ever cussed God? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. So nobody ain't in here ever cussed God? No, I didn't. Because when you have the faith and the hope, what you cussing for? You already know. You know what's going to go, how it's going to go. And what I used to tell people, why should I be upset from where I'm at? Look what happened to Jesus Christ. He hung his head, blood, shed blood on the cross for us. What made me any different? Why it had to be so good for me? It don't. And it don't for none of y'all. No matter how hard it gets, trust and believe. I'm pretty sure everybody done been through something. But I'm just giving you a reminder. We are no better. So, anyone got something to say? We'll move forward. This next verse speaks to God's supervision and intervention. Starting in verse 13, God said, when I have bent Judah for me, filled the bowl with Ephraim, and raised up my sons, O Zion, against thy son, O Greece, and made them as the sword of a mighty man. And the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrows shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord God shall blow the trumpets, and shall go with the whirlwind of the south. Coming in quick. This text say that God will fight our battles for us, but we have to be willing to obey. First, we have to understand that God is in control. There it is. That's who's in control. No matter how bad it is or the way it's going, he's got that in control. Second, we have to be willing to be a bent bow. So that's us. That's us. This verse also speaks to the voice of the Lord by comparing it to a trumpet sound in the context of his culture. We normally, three reasons why the trumpet was blown. First, when something needed to be said to the congregation as a whole, they would sound the trumpet. Second, it was blown when there was going to be an invasion or a war of some type. And the third reason was for some celebration such as a festival. The trumpets would sound, signaling the beginning and the end of an event. Have you heard the Lord trumpet sound in your life? What did it signal for you? In the last part of the verse 14, Zechariah speaks of the God action as he will come as a whirlwind to the side. I'm going to go back up here to the top to prepare to be restored. On that day, the Lord their God will save them, for they are the flock of his people. For like the jewels of a crown, they shall shine on his land. For what goodness and beauty are of his, grain shall make the young men flourish, and new wine the young women. Lastly, in verse 15 through the 17, when God gets through defending the Israelites by devouring and subduing their enemies, they will finally joy. 2 more minutes. God speaks to them in all, and he does not destroy. He will keep in check. These verses also say God will be like a shepherd watching over his flock, and the Israelites will be like jewels in a crown. And when he has done all of this, for how great is his goodness and how great is his beauty, corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the women. Israel will once again experience prosperity in the land, and they will see not only the goodness of the Lord, because of what the Lord has done, but also as they view their land, their crops, their beauty, and they will make merry, happier than ever, even a drunk would be. The goodness of God is unmatched by anyone who can find in his world, and we have his beautiful future to look forward to when we are part of God's family. I mean, no matter how bad things get or however, and in the end, and when you make it over, when he pull you through, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. Our blessings will not come until we are willing to accept God's conventional love and allow God to use us for our good and his glory. For example, if you want to be relieved of your financial duties, you have to be willing to be used by God. And if you want to rid yourself of a bad habit, then you have to be willing to be a bent bow when you could return to God as your stronghold. When we do these things, Bible says that God shows up like a thunderstorm, like lightning, thundering, like a trumpet, traveling like a whirlwind. There are times when we hope and know things will get better, but in the meantime, you need some present encouragement. You can only have present encouragement if you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. If you cannot honestly say today that Jesus died for you and that you have been washed in the blood and you have given your life to Christ, then verse 12 is not for you. God said, as for thee, I want you to turn to the stronghold, which is him. This stronghold is certain to withstand any and all that may come your way. So let's keep that in mind, you all. I have gave y'all this lesson. It was pretty good. Took a little time, but I had to share it with you because it is part of this lesson of holding on to the stronghold. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Scripture for today is Zechariah chapter 9, 9 through 17. The subject of the lesson is world peace. That means that God will fight your battle because he is in control. And until last Sunday was 20, today I had to have a calendar because we were still over there. The weather was warm on Sunday. The lesson lasted 45 minutes. And Deacon Hemingway is the superintendent of Sunday school. You know, we just gotta keep encouraging each other about, when we going through, because a lot of times people go through, and they keep it to themselves, and that does cause a lot of heartache because you feel like you ain't got nobody to turn to. But we always gotta remember, God left us a comforter, which is the Holy Bible. But God is, to me, the most comfort I can get to. When I'm going through stuff, what I usually do, I pray to God. I go in my closet and get on my knees and I get to pray to God. And I can feel his presence. If you can feel his presence, you got confirmation that God is with you. But he tells you all the time, he'll never leave us nor forsake us. And we have to believe that. Like I was telling Pastor them this morning, all we got to do is just look back over our life. That's all you got to do is look back over your life and see where he brought us from. A lot of folks think just because we come to church, we was like this all our life. We wasn't. We just like everybody else, living in a world of sin. But we got a choice. We got a choice to turn it around. That's the thing about God. What he does, he don't care no matter what you've done. How low you go. God, he gonna always be there. Right or wrong, he gonna always be there. And when he say our Father, that's who he is. He's our Father. And he gonna take care of his children. And like you said, turn it over to Jesus. Don't sit there and wallow in it because we're gonna mess it up. Turn it over to him. Just like you said, you say you got faith, trust him. He said, if you trust me for one thing, trust me for all things. And that's all I got to go on is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Now, I tell folks all the time, your mama can't get you to heaven, your daddy can't get you to heaven, your grandpa can't get you to heaven. you got to have a personal relationship with God. You know, when you got a personal relationship with God, guess what? That's better than money. That's better than money. You know, but be sure and very sure that you stay plugged into Jesus. Just stay plugged into no matter what happens, no matter what outcome you think of, just stay plugged into Jesus. Pastor, you got anything? Anyone have anything? Let us stand.